Hey Melissa, part two. I have my son doing the camera work today. Say hello,
Hello.
Kellen.
Hello.
Okay, so we left off at chest press. Okay, the next one is a row. Uh, the way I have this set up for day one is isometric. I'm just gonna pretend that this is my forearm forklift because I have my forearm forklift set up for one of the other exercises, and I look kind of goofy when I'm trying to get the strap over top of the beam, so I'm just saving myself from looking like a fool. So, for the row, I don't remember equipment-wise if you have someone that can do this, but you can wrap the strap around a beam or something that doesn't move, or like a big tree or something like that, that's fine. And you can do it from standing, or you can do it from a seated position like this. So all you're going to do is put the strap around your feet like this, and you're going to row back, okay? With the forearm forklift, you find the spot where the tension is about here, okay? And all we're doing is we're pulling back this way with the elbows. If you were to do this with a resistance band, which you could do, the only thing with the resistance bands that's a little bit different is they're very, very low impact on the joints, which is great. You just have to always, at the end of the motion, hold the squeeze and slow negative, because there's a lot more tension at the end than there is at the start, okay? Which is different from an isometric. So, this is the rowing motion. You're here upright, and I'm sure that you know how to do this, and you're just pulling back with your elbows nice and tight. If you use the band, make sure that you're really holding the squeeze, okay? With the isometric, what we're going to do is you're going to go 30 seconds finding the tension, okay? So at maybe 5 out of 10 effort. The next 30 seconds, you're going to do everything. I should mention, everything has a timer to it. And I'll explain with the next exercise the timing of things. But it's how we monitor progression. The isometrics, you can't really monitor progression as much. That's why I like to work in body weight exercises as well as free weights, because the measurement of those times, the time under tension, we watch that time grow, and I'll talk about when to increase the weights and so on. So 30 seconds finding the tension, maybe 50% effort, and then the next 30 seconds is a solid 8 out of 10 effort, which you're going to hold. Okay, this part gets hard. Then the last 30 seconds is let's say that you're going 80%, you're going 80%, 85%, 90%, 95%, where the last 5-10 seconds is you going all out pulling, okay? You're going to do that exact same type, 30-30-30, so 30 seconds at 50%, 30 seconds at 80%, and then the last 30 seconds, you're going from 80 to 100, okay? They work really, really well. They're super low impact on the joints, but you still put an incredible amount of tension on the muscles. And you notice when you're doing these right and you're really trying to, and you're really have the intensities where it's supposed to be, you're going to have, you're going to be fatigued after in a kind of a way that you haven't been fatigued before. Usually fatigue in the muscles is accompanied by fatigue in the joints, and that's what you're not going to have with this. That's the idea with this program, is it's low impact, but it's still very, very, very effective, okay? The next is a dumbbell overhead press. You can do this standing, or you can do this seated. I like seated personally, but you're free to do it from a standing position. You're just going to have the dumbbells here. I like my elbows a little bit forward. It's a little easier. I have a infraspinatus thing, so I like my elbows a little bit forward, but all the way at the side is fine too. And we're just pressing up, okay? Now, as an example, any of the dumbbell or bodyweight exercises, you're going to time. So we're going to set a timer, go, and then start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Same thing as the chest press. and the squat don't rest at the top where all the weight, if you lock out, then the weight is resting on your bones and the muscles aren't being worked that hard. You want to do the exercise the hardest way possible on the target muscle group. So as soon as you get to the top, switch position or switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 up, 5 down. You get to a point where you can't do another rep, okay? You're going to go up as high as you can, and you can't do it, and you're going to go as slow, negative as you possibly can until the end, okay? This is when, if you have a spotter, they can help your arms up for one more rep. Those are what we call forced reps. But I try to work these programs as if you don't have a spotter and do it as effectively as possible without one. And then if you do have one, then it's a bonus, okay? So we've got slow squat, chest press, isometric row, and then we have the overhead press. And now we're going to do the isometric pull down. So this is what I had the strap set up for. So a pull down or a pull up movement, all you're doing here is getting your arms through the straps. You have to throw the strap over something, okay? Get your straps, and just the same motion as if you're doing a pull up, okay? And we're pulling down. Again, this is an immovable object. We're pulling down. All the tension is here. Low lats, back, even in the middle of the back. And definitely your forearms and biceps, okay? So same thing, 30 seconds to find the tension, then 30 seconds at about 80%, and then 30 seconds increasing from 80 to 100, where at the end of that 30 seconds, so at the end of the whole 90 seconds, you should be shaking and trying to rip that material, okay? Next is a slow sit-up. So what I like to do, doesn't really matter, I like to have something holding my feet. So here, and just think, start off in a push-up position. You can hold your arms up, you can do this, it doesn't really matter. I like my hands up, okay? Nice and slow up, constant tension on your stomach, slow down. Don't lie all the way flat and allow your stomach to relax. The idea is that your abs are engaged the whole time, all the way down until you start to feel the tension come off of your abs, and then switch directions back up again. Up, slow down. The whole way with any of these exercises, you're controlling your breathing, okay? You get to a point where you're like this and you can't do any more, it's okay, then just slow back down. As slow of a negative as possible. I think I mentioned this earlier in the last video. You're always stronger on the negative than you are the positive, okay? So you always want to sneak out a little bit extra work in that negative portion. Dumbbell shrugs is next. So normally, I don't always have shrugs in everybody's programs. The reason why I have it for yours is because when you're carrying load, like you are with the male carrying, even though there's not maybe direct tension on your traps, you're probably always picking things up a little bit. You're always kind of shrugging, and even when you're picking stuff up, you're probably shrugging your shoulders, okay? So we're going to work these traps a little bit. So I'm going to use a really light weight just to show. So if I have these 15s here, if Calvin can get the side view here. No, right there is good, buddy, yeah. Okay, we're standing. Our shoulders are going to go up and back. And then slow down, up and back. You want to feel like you're pinching your upper shoulder blades at the top. And you should feel a ton of tension after a few reps. This one you want to allow your arms to stretch all the way down and then come all the way up, shrugging. Same cadence as the others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one you might want to use heavier weights. If you don't have heavy enough dumbbells, okay? For the timing, when you time all these exercises, you want to be hitting your failing point and stopping the timer somewhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes, okay? That's a great time frame, a great time under load that you want to aim for. So let's say that you're doing shrugs and you're hitting failure at 2 minutes and 20 seconds, okay? You want to increase the weight, okay? If you do an exercise and you are failing at 25 seconds, you want to lighten the weight. So you want to be hitting failure somewhere between 30 seconds and 2 minutes. So let's say that you start with an exercise and you're doing a specific weight, and you fail at 90 seconds. 90 seconds is perfect. The next week, you're gonna mark all this stuff down. So the next week, you look at your workout and you go, okay, last week I did shrugs, I did 30-pound dumbbells, and I was 90 seconds. So what you're shooting for this week is 95 seconds. Okay, so you want to be putting your body in a little bit more time under load. Okay, that's the way that you can progressively overload your muscles, and every week you're getting a little bit stronger. As your body weight goes like this over the course of a long period of time, like let's say the 10-12 weeks, as your weight goes down, sometimes your strength is going up, but as your weight goes down, your strength starts to plateau, that you get stuck somewhere. And that's where I need to know about that stuff so we can kind of pivot. Because mass moves mass. So the bigger you are, the stronger you are to a degree. You can hang on to quite a bit of strength as you taper down in weight, as long as you're hanging on to the right kind of weight, which is muscle. Okay? So that's shrugs. The last one is going to be your forearms. Now I would assume all day you're picking things up. You're going to be using your forearms quite a bit. So what I want you to look at for this is you're going to look at, I mean, obviously you can work this flexion, right? You can work that. But that's getting worked all the time. What is not getting worked all the time is forearm extension. So what I like to do is sit, hang the weight over my knees like this, and then I pull up like this. You want to try to keep, what's going to happen is you're going to pull up as you go heavy. Your index knuckles are going to rotate in, okay? That's where, because you're weaker out here than you are in here. So what you want to do is try to keep your forearms, or your palms, the back of your hand as straight as possible, and you're curling up. So you don't want to start doing this. Start doing that, then it's starting to get hard. Always work to do this. There. Same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold, squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the one I want you to work for the forearms for the end. The other one that you can do for the forearms, if you want, is again, as you're gripping a lot, you want to work your fingers the other way, okay? I have an actual attachment somewhere where it's loops over each finger, and you just stretch out like this, working your extensors. You can also just put an elastic around your fingers and just do this. Okay, same thing. Hold, back out. Hold, back out. So forearms for the last exercise, extension, and finger extensors this way. Okay? That's day one. Slow squat, chest press, isometric row, overhead press with dumbbells, isometric pull down, slow sit up, dumbbell shrugs, forearm extension, and finger extension. Okay? That's day one. Day two, we're working the same muscle groups for each exercise, but we're doing different exercises. So hip thrust, you just have your bench. You're going to lean down like this, okay? Here, put some weight of any kind, doesn't matter how much. You're going to have to figure out, the first couple workouts are going to take a little longer because you're going to have to figure out which weight. This is why it's very important to write down which weight works and for how long, so you know whether you're within that 30 seconds to 2 minutes hitting failure, and that's how you know whether you need to increase weight. Don't guess every time, okay? I like to go to about my shoulder blades, put some weight on your hips, down, up. Squeeze the glutes at the top. Slow down. Change directions, back up. Same cadence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Stretch. Okay? That's a hip thrust. It works similar muscles to the squat. Some people find that it's the squat, especially when you're doing goblet squats, hits more quads, and this hits more of your glutes. They both hit each of them. Hip thrusts are a good one as well. I like to add them too. Next one is your chest press isometric. So I know that you have a bench at home. You're going to put your isometric strap under the bench. Same thing as the chest press. You're going to find the tension about here and then just push into that. Again, you're going to be pulling the strap is underneath the bench so it can't go anywhere, and you're going to be pushing into it. Always keep your elbows tucked, okay? Don't flare your elbows out. Keep your elbows tucking in. That's going to engage chest, front delts, triceps, okay? Same thing as the other isometrics, 30 seconds at 50, 30 at 80, 30 going from 80 to 100, okay? Incline row. I believe that John did this in his program. If you have a bench, which you do, you're going to incline it slightly, like this. You're going to stand. Your chest is going to be leaning up against the bench. You're going to have your weights here, and you're going to pull your elbows back. Boom. And down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze. Okay? That's the incline row. One of my favorite back exercises. Isometric lateral raise. This one is one of my favorite isometrics. Okay? Stand up. This works the same muscles as the overhead press. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to stand over these and we're pulling our arms this way. Okay? I like to put them over the wrists and then pulling up. Okay? The tension is directly on my shoulders. Same thing. Find it here. Okay? Start my timer. 30 seconds. 30 seconds at 80. And then 30 seconds trying to rip this strap. Really rough. Okay? One of two things. I'll give you two options. Okay? The reason why I'm going to give you two options is because some people have a hard time with this assisted pull-up. So, sorry, Callan. So, if you have a pull-up bar, put a chair underneath, and it seems like cheating. It is cheating, okay? You're going to get into your pull-up position. I always prefer the chin-up grip. I think it hits the lats just the same as this grip. This grip's just harder, okay? So you're going to be standing on something. You're going to lower down slow. You're going to keep that tension in your lats and stretch, and you're going to go up. Your legs are going to help you, okay? But you're pulling up with your arms the whole time. Chin over top, slow down. You're hanging whatever you can off your body weight on your lats. And then back up again. You're going to do that as many times as you can. And what you're going to find is your legs will help out more and more and more as you go because you are failing. Your back muscles are failing. Okay? That's one option. The other option is called a pullover. Some people say this is a chest exercise, but I disagree. So, weight directly over your face. Your arms stay straight. Okay, crucial. Don't bend your elbows. The weight comes over your head, and now the tension is on your lats. And then you keep your arms straight, and then right back up again. Over your face, back down. great exercise for the lats. Okay, so I'll give you an option for that for day 2 is either that, as I don't remember if you have a way to do a pull-up at your house, or the pullover. Okay, if you go to a gym, there's a Nautilus pullover, which is where you put your elbows and hands on pads, and you pull the weight down like this and back up, and then pull the weight down. It's probably the best overall lat exercise, just not a lot of gyms have it. Now we're going to do for our abs, it's going to be a slow leg raise. So very, very simply, roll back, hands underneath your low back, okay? And your legs are going to go down as slow as you can, and then up as slow as you can. And you're going to stop just shy of 90, because that's where, once you hit 90, the tension is off of your abs. So stop just shy of 90 degrees, and then slow back down again. And up. You want to do it as slow as you possibly can. Same thing as with all of them. Do the exercise harder, okay? The last one is neck. I'm only going to show the 4-way directional neck. You don't have to get crazy with this one. I think everybody should work their neck, but grapplers especially, they need to. For you, I don't know, I saw some of the pictures where the straps are over top of your head, so I don't know how much strain is on your neck, but either way, I don't think it's a bad thing to work your neck. So what you're going to do is isometric, the same idea that we were doing with the strap, but we're going to do 60 seconds each direction, okay? So you're going to push into the palm of your hand, okay? You're pushing your head this way, you're pushing your hand that way. And you're going to hold at about 50%, okay? And then you're going to increase, not to 100, but to about 80%, okay, for the next 30 seconds. Then you're going to stop, and then you're going to go the other way. 30 seconds at 50%, 30 seconds at 80, okay? Now the next one is you're going to push your head forward into your palm, okay? And then the same thing to the back of your head, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. 60 seconds each. That's it. That is the exercise portion. So for day 2, hip thrust, chest press with the strap, isometric, incline row, lateral raise, assisted pull-up, or the lat pullover, slow leg raise for abs, 4-way isometric on the neck. I'm going to leave the forearms. Forearms are typically being worked all the time. If you want, on the last exercise of day 2, you can get into some grip work, which is just squeezing in. I use a rice bucket for one of my workouts. I can show some stuff with the rice bucket at some point. I don't want to have you having to go out and buy extra equipment, but anything with your grip squeezing. One really, really easy one is just to grip something wide and then just isometrically hold the grip, okay? With just your fingers, isometrically holding that. So that can be an ending to your workout. Or you can do the same exercise you did on day 1, which is the extension and then the finger extension out, okay? So that is the resistance training part of it. This is the most important. That's why I spend the most time on it. That should be priority number 1. For you getting back to your job, carrying being a mail carrier. Sorry if that's the wrong term for it. That seems like it's quite strenuous, and that might be something you want to work towards. So I'm going to leave, you're going to have lots of time, because this is not going to be a very time-consuming week as far as the training is concerned, to leave you some time for what I would call skill work, which is going to be maybe taking some longer walks, and maybe taking some longer walks with as close to a pack that you carry for your job, as close to that as possible, with, maybe starting out with like a lighter weight and then adding more until you get to that 40-pound mark. that will be a good way to kind of ramp up towards getting you to your job. I'll leave that part of it to you. The part of mine program that I want to focus on is the 2 resistance sessions. Number 2, this is the easiest one, but it is the most important to me. As far as a no-brainer, I think that everybody should do this, is post-meal light cardio. So that would be like a 10-minute walk, or 10 minutes on your bike, or 10 minutes on a stationary bike. I use a spin bike in my living room. But after a meal, 10 minutes. So instead of doing like, say, a 20-minute walk or a 30-minute walk, I know I saw in yours, you're just starting to walk 20 minutes a day. Switch those to 10-minute walks or 8-minute walks or something a little bit less, not strenuous at all, just at a pace that's, so your heart rate goes from like whatever your heart rate is at rest, it's just a little bit elevated from that. That's the idea. Really good for digestion, really good for blood sugar regulation, good for a lot of things. For me, it's just the digestion. It's been crucial for me. But anytime I have a meal and I can do a 10-minute walk or 10 minutes on my bike, I do it, and I find a ton of benefit from it. So 2 resistance sessions, 10-minute walks. You want to shoot for at least 2 a day, but you can do up to as many meals as you have. You can do it 4 or 5 times. Really, there's no cap to them, but I'll say at least 2 a day. And the last part that I'll prescribe is, it's good to get out of breath once in a while, as you would have done with your boxing fitness, your boot camps and so on. You're going to be huffing and puffing. That's really good for your heart. So twice a week, because you have in my opinion, the best piece of equipment for low impact, high intensity cardio is your, whatever you call that thing. What's that thing called? Assault bike. So what you're going to do is 8 to 12 minutes, 20 seconds hard, 40 seconds of a relaxed pace. So you're going 20 seconds really, really hard, and then 40 seconds relaxed. 20 seconds really, really hard, 40 seconds relaxed. That will absolutely spike your heart rate. You're going to do that for 8 minutes, and you can go, up higher if you want to. Or do a 10 to 15 minute bike ride, but it's fast. So you're trying to, what we're doing here is intentionally spiking our heart rate. I don't have everybody do this because sometimes people's skill work, like a jiu-jitsu, that's going to spike your heart rate anyway, so you don't need to add an extra. But for you, because you're not doing that right now, that would be the easiest way to add into that, would be your 2 sessions a week. They're only 8 minutes long. If you want, you can even add it as a warm-up. So you could do this and then do some light, mobility work before you hit your resistance sessions. That would be a good way to do it. Those resistance sessions are going to take you like 20 minutes, maybe a half an hour. I'll say a half an hour actually, with the proper rest between. So if you do the 8-minute cardio before and then the resistance session, that will be, you're talking less than an hour total, twice a week. That's really all you got to do, plus the 10-minute walks. So that's the training part of it. 2 resistance sessions, 2 high intensity cardio sessions, and then your 10-minute walks after meals as often as you can, at least 2 a day. That will leave you all kinds of time to, if you want to start to explore with longer walks, or maybe longer walks with a little bit of weight added. Again, I think that would be important for you getting back to that mail carrying job. But take it very, very slow. If anything starts to not feel great, back right off. You don't have to keep doing it. Any of these weight exercises that you find with dumbbells, it's too much, or it's go lighter and slower. If you find that even with lighter weights, something is bugging you, switch to an isometric version of it, or resistance bands. Those are much lower impact. Again, with the bands, just make sure at the end of the motion, you're squeezing, because that's where all the tension is. Okay? The other part, so diet, exercise, and then recovery. The recovery part is a lot smaller. For you, I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail because you already sleep a great deal. And that's usually where people have a big problem, is they're not sleeping enough. You're sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. That's perfect. After the resistance sessions, your body should feel pretty fatigued. Your nervous system will be pretty fatigued. So if you've ever done any kind of breath work or meditation to calm you down, or you can look up I'll send you a video on it, a non-sleep deep rest. That is a way to kind of calm your nervous system down and kick your body into recovery mode. With resistance training, we stress our muscles in an intense way, which causes an adaptation. And that adaptation is done during recovery, and that's where your body gets bigger and stronger. Your muscles get bigger and stronger. So you want to kick your body into recovery mode as fast as you can. Ideally, you don't train really hard and then go right to this and that and doing this and making lunches and out. Ideally, you'd be able to start your recovery and get your heart rate back down to where it should be, and then do the rest of your day. A lot of your recovery is going to come from the eating as well, making sure you're eating enough food and you're eating the right amount of food, which again may take a couple weeks to kind of fine tune, but start with the amounts that I've given you and we'll see where things go to. You want to eat enough food to fuel your workouts, but not too much where you're piling on fat. You want to eat the right amount, and that way you are, as long as you're eating enough food, you're giving your muscles the proper nutrients they need to grow, or to at least retain and stay the same size. The other part of recovery that's not talked about as much is your electrolytes. If you are doing this type of training, you maybe won't be sweating too much. Definitely with the assault bike you will be. Any time when you start to sweat, you want to replenish with water, but you also want to replenish with electrolytes. That is salt and potassium. Unless you have some sort of a high blood pressure situation, which based on your past activities, I don't think that you would, but salt is crucial for that. You don't need very much, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon and a quarter teaspoon of potassium salt. Mix that with some water, maybe a little flavoring, some lemon, whatever. If you're sweating, you want to put that back. If you get to a point where you're not doing that and you are sweating a lot, you're going to start to get into maybe getting in headaches and things like that. That is your electrolytes. You want to make sure that those are where they're supposed to be, and it's very, very important for recovery. Anything else that you want to do that you feel helps you recover, that's great. I do ice baths and Epsom salt baths on the weekends. I do a few things there. They're not really necessary. They're small little things you can do. The sleep and the eating is the best for your recovery. That's the crucial part. And kicking your body into recovery mode after your resistance sessions. So that's it. That's the program. I will send you an email with kind of bullet points of a few of these things. And I'll also send you a couple videos that just kind of back up a couple things that I'm saying. I'll send you a non-sleep deep rest video, a video on 10-minute walks. That's probably enough. I might even have a video of something else that I've done, just showing an example of the cadence and what it looks like when you're going to failure. I will show that as well. If you have any questions and any of this stuff, please reach out. You can text or email whatever you need, and we'll watch as this goes. So with the resistance sessions, make sure when you have an exercise that you write down what weight you use and then how long the set was. And that way, if you look at it the next week, you have something that I'm going to do at least that or more. Okay? Go with adding more time first before you add in weight. So make sure that you're hitting that 2 minutes before you start to add more resistance, okay? And then that way you can show yourself progressing. If you start to plateau with your strength in a bunch of exercises, let me know and we'll make a pivot, okay? That is all that I have. Thank you very much, Kellen, for being my, what do you call it? Videographer? Is that what you are? Filmographer?
I forgot what it was called.
Something like that. Thank you very much.
Photographer.
What is it?
Photographer.
That's for pictures.
Oh, right, yeah.
But anyways, whatever you are, thank you. I appreciate my cameraman for today.
Yeah.
Any questions, let me know. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, buddy, you can click the old thing there.